Okay, today I'm going to show you an exercise that kind of prepares the left hand position and finger independence. So it does a little bit of both, works the finger independence, but also makes sure that you're paying attention to your finger, your left hand position, a fixed left hand position. Watch the video for free. You can just pick up the exercise from the video and just learn about left hand position stuff. But if you're interested in the exercise, this is number 10 from my 20 favorite exercises, but it's also in my larger technique book as well. I have two technique books. One has tab, one is much larger and is notation only. There's links for those books underneath the video. So what I'll do is I'll just show you the exercises really quickly, just go through them really quickly, and then we'll have a lesson on exactly how to approach the exercises. So this is a fixed finger exercise. So we're going to be putting a finger down and leaving it down while the other fingers are active. So in the first example, we're going to leave the first finger down while the other fingers are actively doing an exercise. And then in the second one, we're going to leave the second finger down and while the other fingers do numerous patterns, and we'll go from there. So the first one, we're going to put our first finger on the first fret of the third string, and we're going to leave it there. So that's A flat or G sharp, and we're going to leave it there. Then the other fingers are going to play on these frets here. So we're going to play that fixed finger once, and then play 4, 3, 2. Again, next string. As you can see, I'm doing 4, 3, 2 on every single string while leaving my first finger down. This makes sure that we're practicing finger independence, but not letting like the first finger just like be way out here, for example. We're keeping our whole hand position very close to the guitar because one of the fingers is fixed. This, when you play counterpoint or multi-voice texture pieces, you often have to keep certain fingers down while other fingers move. And so this is an exercise to help you with that. The second line of this exercise, we're going to keep the second finger down on the second fret of the third string, and we're going to go 4, 3, 1 on every string. You might feel a little bit of strain in that one, although it should still be fairly easy. Just make sure that your hand position is aligned with the strings so you can reach all the frets very easily. Right hand fingering, by the way, I generally play with my thumb on the bass strings and my fingers on the upper strings. Okay, the third line, we're going to keep our third finger down on the third fret of the third string, and we're going to go 4, 2, 1 on every string. It's not the most beautiful sounding exercise, but it's really comprehensive. And then the last one, we're going to keep the fourth finger on the fourth fret of the third string. We're going to go 3, 2, 1 on every string. Okay, so that's the exercise. Now let's talk about approaching it. So if you've made it to number 10, you've probably done some basic like one finger per fret exercises. So all the same principles apply here. We want to be close to the fret. We want to play right on our fingertips and have every knuckle here curved. And make sure that our hand is aligned. If this knuckle is out, you can see what that does to my fourth finger. If this knuckle is in, it works. Same thing for the bass strings, right? If my knuckle's over here, I can't really reach that bass string, but if my knuckle is close into the guitar like this, it's no problem. So all of those things that you learned from previous exercises applies to this one, except this one's a little bit more complex. So when you go to play it, just make sure that everything is hovering over the frets. This kind of one finger per fret technique rule will apply here. So even before you begin, you put your first finger down, and all of these fingers should be hovering over the fourth fret, third fret, and second fret. that way when they have to go to play, it's very minimal movement. You'll probably find it hardest on the first string because there might be like a little bit of strain in your hand. Just make sure you're relaxed, sitting up straight, and again that your hand is aligned, and that your knuckles in close enough that this finger can remain curved while these ones play. If you're having lots of tension during this exercise, try doing it without playing with the right hand. Sometimes just doing the actual motions really reduces the amount of tension in the hand, and then you can learn the dexterity and the motion in your fingers without the tension, and so you can be very relaxed. And then when you go to add a little bit of right hand pressure into the situation, just make sure your left hand isn't doing too much of it. You could even try muting these notes by putting your finger on the string but not pushing it down to the fret. It would make a sound like this. Those kinds of muting exercises can again teach you the motions, but minus the tension. All of the exercises are pretty much the same, so all my advice is very similar. If you have problems with this exercise, I'd recommend two things. One thing, go back to the basic exercises and make sure you practice those again. The other thing I'd recommend is just do the motions without the tension for a little while. It might take a couple of days or it might take a couple of weeks, but do it until it feels pretty good over here. If you're still having problems with that, you might want to check your guitar posture overall. And I have lessons on the site for all those things, for guitar posture, left hand position, right hand position. Check everything once again. As you advance, you need to double check these things. If anything is misaligned, you might find this exercise pretty difficult. So you want to make sure that everything is set up, and then doing the actual exercise shouldn't be too much of a strain. But take it very slow. Make sure you're sustaining that fixed note. If you're having tons of problems with this, just don't do the fixed finger just yet. Just play it and then let go. It's not as good of an exercise, but it's a good first step. You could just learn how to play the exercise and then add that fixed finger element after you've learned the exercise. So I think that's all the tips that I want to give you for this one, but just remember, it's all part of like an ongoing comprehensive look at your technique. So if you have troubles with something, you have to backtrack and go back to like simple exercises and make sure that your technique is in order for those ones before trying harder material like this. It's just like people that want to play like thick counterpoint like Bach, but they haven't played a lot of like easier pieces yet. They're kind of diving in a little too soon. So you want to make sure that it's a natural progression to harder material. You make a foundation of technique and then you add to that foundation as you go.